Howdy, we are watching at 48 hours earthquake activity, and I just wanted to point out that once again, in the vicinity of Stockholm, which is here, and the vicinity of the nuclear power plant, which had to be shut down to so-called maintenance work, we had a quake yesterday, 1.4. I made reports about the quakes in the vicinity of the nuclear power plant here, maybe some weeks ago. And then we had the G4 geomagnetic storm, and they had to shut down 2 reactors here. Stockholm was without electricity, and probably many other places. There has been also an unconfirmed quake in Stockholm, which would go very well with the geomagnetic activity. So there is somewhat of an earthquake hotspot here in Sweden. And then we go to Austria. There is some earthquake activity going on here, and now it seems that it has also spread out a little bit, because there is one spot in particular which is finally really close to a well or spring, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quakes at the same location within 48 hours. 2.1, 1.4, 0.8 and 0.5. And now, if we zoom out a little bit, we are in Innsbruck, Austria, and there is this valley which goes down here, Brenner. And in my paper, in this section, water, streams and clouds, we will find this picture, which I have been showing recently once, and I figured out that the quality is really bad. And like I mentioned many times, bath indicates that there is some special water where you can take a bath. It's probably warm, you know. People tend to like to bath in warm water, probably more than in cold water. The healing spring was first mentioned around 1400. 1400, Prince Sigismund the Rich in coins and his wife Eleanor of Scotland were already looking for relaxation here around 1460. So there is some bathing activity going on, and we are near Brenner Bad, within the Alps. So now let's go over to Google Earth and search for Brenner Bad, which is a very small place actually. In other words, you have to zoom in rather close in order to find it. Maybe we have to just take the pictures off first. Obenberg. Brennersee. We have been in the wrong valley, I think. Brennerbad. So I made a video earlier already, but I figured out that I couldn't find the place. Where the original picture has been taken, but now I think it is somewhere here, I guess. Yeah, maybe I end up the same as I have already. No, it's here. Check it out. That's the picture, which is in my paper. which I found by following an earthquake. And now we have a better quality of that. I think that's very amazing. And here down somewhere in the valley, we have this bath, Brennerbad, where rich people took baths many years ago. Figure 14 shows quite likely an energy exchange between ground and sky. It has undeniable visual similarities with a breathing volcano. The location is in the Italian Alps in the Bolzano region. I'm not sure about the name of the mountain in question, but I guess it's Tirolspitze. I don't know, because it's not mentioned here in the picture what mountain we are looking at. So it's just a guess. But I think it's an amazing picture. And I have been showing these kind of pictures which I found on Windy, on webcams recently. So this is not something rare. This happens all the time. Like people which are, or who are living in the Alps, they see this all the time. It's this one. I tried to make place mark so you can check it out. But still, Quakes. Because not only do we have quakes and nuclear facilities here, we have to go here over to France. Check this out. Here we have the quake yesterday, 2.1, 0 kilometers in depth or 2 kilometers in depth, so very shallow. Equeurdreville, Manche, Normandy, France. Yeah, it's rumbling again in the Normandy. But we have also this thing here. Orano-Lag. Centre de stockage de la Manche. Manche? Well, anyway, that's a rather big facility. More than 2.5 kilometers long. And if you zoom in, you will probably notice that, yeah, you don't see anything. It's all pixelated. And we have water. At least it looks like that there would be some water bodies within this pixelated facility area. We have water pouring out all over the place. Like there are springs, wells, or however you want to call them, everywhere around the facility, and some of them seem to come out of it, or they are very close to the facility itself. And here we have water bodies. There is like a lake, seems to be maybe almost peatish in nature. We have these walls here, or whatever they are. I just call them now walls, because in a way they resemble walls, and they are also here in the peatland. There are several of those straight lines which stick up. Maybe some ancient star fort or something. I don't know. But nowadays we have that rather large facility here. Orano-La Hague. La Hague. The La Hague site is a nuclear fuel reprocessing plant at La Hague on the Cotentin Peninsula in northern France, with the Manche storage center bordering on it. Now let's check out this Manche storage. The Centre de stockage de la Manche is the oldest French radioactive waste storage center. It is located at the commune of La Hague. Okay, storage facility. La Hague has nearly half of the world's light water reactor spent nuclear fuel reprocessing capacity. It has been in operation since 1976 and has a capacity of about 1,700 tons per year. It attracts plutonium, which is then recycled into MOX fuel and the Macroul site. It has treated spent nuclear fuel from France, Japan, Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, and the Netherlands. It processed 1,100 tons in 2005. The non-recyclable part of the radioactive waste is eventually sent back to the user nation. Prior to 2015, more than 32,000 tons of spent nuclear fuel has been reprocessed, with 70% of that of France, 17 from Germany, and 9 from Japan. You can read about that history. Controversy surrounding radioactive releases. Greenpeace has been campaigning since 1997 for the shutdown of the site, which they claim dumps 1 million liters of liquid radioactive waste per day into the ocean, the equivalent of 50 nuclear waste barrels, claiming the radiation affects local beaches. Although official figures are to the contrary. Greenpeace have protested by creating roadblocks and chaining themselves to vehicles transporting materials to and from the site. However, the leader of Greenpeace France, Yannick Rousselet, has since stated that they have ceased attempting to criticize the reprocessing plant on technical grounds. Kogema having succeeded at performing the processes without serious spills that have been frequent at other such facilities around the world. In the past, the anti-nuclear movement argued that Kogema would not succeed with reprocessing. Eric Blanc, deputy director of the processing plant, says that although the plant does intentionally release radioactive material, says that although the plant does intentionally release radioactive material, the annual dose in the vicinity of the facility is less than 20 microsieverts per year, which is equivalent to the dose of cosmic radiation received during a single transatlantic flight and therefore within regulation. The RAVA-NC website emphasizes that they are committed to keeping the dose below 30 microsieverts per year. And I have been talking about Olkiluoto, the nuclear facility in Finland, which is probably or one of the most expensive house humans ever built. And it was just some 13 years late or something. And the thing is that within this very large facility here in France, where we have all those wells and Quake nearby, just some 10 kilometers. There, they are building the Flamanville nuclear power plant. The Flamanville nuclear power plant is located in Flamanville, Manche, France, in the Cotentin Peninsula. The power plant houses two pressurized water reactors that produce. A third reactor at the site, an EPR unit, began construction in 2007 with its commercial introduction scheduled for 2012. As of 2020, the project is more than 5 times over budget and years behind schedule. Various safety problems have been raised, including weakness in the steel used in the reactor. In July 2019, further delays were announced, pushing back the commercial introduction date to the end of 2022. In January 2022, more delays were announced, with fuel loading continuing until mid-2023, this year. And again in December 2022, delaying fuel loading to early 2024. So this is the same thing they were building also in Olkiluoto. It's the same reactor. But no worry, because there might be a solution at hand. Because here on Interesting Engineering, we can read that small portable nuclear reactors could power up to 1,000 households. Here's how they work. The reactor will only need refueling once in 5 years and used in remote locations. Yeah, after 3.5 years, where is it? I think I put it here, but it's not. So where is it? Radiant. Doug Bernauer joined SpaceX as an avionics engineer in 2007, when the company's Falcon rocket had not been successfully launched even once. He then worked on the Hyperloop, the Boring Company, and even refueling Starship on Mars before he realized the true potential of nuclear power. In 2019, he set up a company called Radiant Industries that is working to build melt-proof portable nuclear generators that can be packed in a shipping container. With the world looking for ways to reduce its carbon emissions, nuclear energy is poised to make a comeback. Last month, Interesting Engineer reported how China currently has 24 nuclear power plants under construction and is set to become the world leader in terms of energy produced by nuclear energy. While China's nuclear power plants use conventional technology, Radiant Industries is building smaller nuclear reactors that could be deployed even in the remotest locations on the planet and cater to energy needs, whether for military or civilian purposes. How does the portable nuclear reactor work? Radiant's plan for making its power plant portable is to make a smaller nuclear reactor capable of generating 1 megawatt of energy sufficient to power about 1,000 homes. At the core of the technology are trisoparticles, which are the fuel for the reactor, composed of uranium, oxygen, and carbon. These particles are covered with ceramic and carbon materials and are no larger than a poppy seed. The particles can then be put together as a sphere or large cylinder depending on the reactor design. An important feature of the fuel is its high melting temperature, which makes the reactor itself meltdown proof. In the tests conducted so far, Radiant has taken trisoparticles to temperatures up to 3000 Fahrenheit, 1648 degrees Celsius, which is about the melting point of quartz, and has not seen any concerning damage. This is higher than the temperature most nuclear reactors will ever reach. Yes, they shouldn't. The company has also used helium in its reactor design to act as a coolant to facilitate passive heat removal. This is another mechanism put in place to prevent the meltdown in case the reactor suddenly shuts down. Under a federal program, Radiant has been working with Idaho National Laboratory and the Argonne National Laboratory to use their expertise into improving its product. Since the trisoparticles need to be refueled only once in 5 years, the reactor can be deployed at remote locations which have not been connected to the grid and might be dependent on fossil fuels for energy needs. For now, the company just intends to focus on the engineering of the reactor and seek regulatory approval for its designs and technology. Yeah, there is no comment yet. I think that's rather fresh. May 4th, yeah. But anyway, let's just build 10 small portable nuclear reactors and bury them somewhere. And try to find them in 5 years' time and continue. Why not? It's still very interesting to think about how they store nuclear waste. They put it into containers which are made of copper, which is a very good conductor of electricity, and it might melt And when it melts, or when copper-bearing rock is heated and somewhat melting, it releases sulfur. And yesterday evening, I think I had an epiphany about something, but which is related to sulfur. Many ancient stories and tales and stuff like that that talk about brimstone, fire, and things like that. So, yesterday I may have some epiphany about also, like, for those who know Slayer, the band, they have this song called Raining Blood. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think I'm trying to make a video about this because all of a sudden many things start to make sense and it's amazing. But anyway, just a video about random things and nuclear power plants. Thanks. Bye.